Good morning, interwebs. It's 7:04 in the evening, and I don't know, I'm having a day. I woke up at like a normal-ish time. It was fine. I got up, and I don't even know how I spent my time this morning. I guess I'm letting the dog in and out. That's about normal. Come in, Kuma. I oversaw some baking this morning. I did a ton of baking last night. We had a wee explosion of our Amish friendship bread starter. Like, it kind of overgrew when we had put it on pause and went on our vacation. When I woke it back up, it then needed to be like extra fed. I did things, I made it all work, but it meant that I ended up with a lot of starter to use, and I didn't want to waste it and throw it away, so I made lots of baked goods. So there are these two, and there's two more loaves that are in like glassy cake pans that are in the fridge already. And then I also made these last night. These are 2 coffee cakes. And then I made biscotti. I made walnut biscotti, and I made blueberry lemon biscotti. So those are already packaged up also. And then today, my daughter made cinnamon rolls, which still need to be iced. We did that, and as soon as the cinnamon rolls came out of the oven, I made lunch. I made some like yummy eggs and onions and stuff, and we had that with some leftover bundt cake, which I'd made from a starter earlier, and so that all went. We ate it, and I picked things up, and then I was just so sleepy. Like, it felt like I had an anvil dropped on my head, and Steve went to bed, and the kids were all resting, so I took a nap. But that nap turned out, I went to sleep at like, I don't know, 3:45 maybe? And I woke up at 6:45. So, that's a long time. Everyone played nice. I woke up like a little bit as the kids woke up, but they were just hanging out and doing stuff, so it wasn't like they actively needed me to be involved. But gosh, that was very strange. It's not an ordinary time to have that kind of sleep. Like, I nap all the time. But there's different kinds of naps. There's like a fun, oh, wouldn't the sleep be nice? Like, yay for snoozing. And then there's like, oh, this is part of my normal sleep cycle. And then there's like, physically can't function because you're falling asleep. And then there's like, you feel kind of sick to your stomach, but if you go to sleep, you feel better. It was one of those. And those are usually hormonal for me. I found the like knockout dead sleep randomly, and it hits whenever it hits. And I hadn't had it hit this cycle yet. Ordinarily hits at the front end, but instead I guess it hit at the back. I don't know. The only thing I can hope is that I will feel better coming out of it, because usually after that, like, everything kind of levels out for me and I feel better. I don't know, but that's how I spent my day, was here on this comfy couch. I had to sleep under a blanket, even though it wasn't necessarily like it's cooling down, but it's not cold. But Jezebel has very, very pointy claws, and she too decided that the couch, preferably at the highest point on my hip, was the best place to sleep, with her claws digging into me. So I had to sleep in her blanket, so she had somewhere to hold her claws. So we've done that. I'm now heating up some hot water so I can make coffee, because I never got to coffee today. I did have a couple cups of hot tea this morning. I'm going to make some coffee. I think we might be having cinnamon rolls or something for dinner. We'll see what I decide to have with them, but we just have so much baked goods right now, and it's been a little bit since we've had them, so everyone's real excited. So those will just be our fun, happy carbs. I don't know if you can hear my kids. They're outside playing on the swing set, so there's lots of like screaming and fun times being had. Trying to squeak in a little bit of playtime between storms. There is some tornado watches, and there's some activity and stuff going on west of us. But gosh, this tornado season has been weird so far. Like, this will be our 10th summer here, and the cat is particularly sneezy also. It's very loud all of a sudden in my house. It was so quiet for the hours I was sleeping. But anyways, this summer marks a decade that we've lived here, 10 years. And we've never had a tornado season that felt like this. The storms are popping up differently. Like, there's a certain, if you live in the Midwest, you will be familiar with the feeling of electrical storms And there's also a feeling during a storm when you can tell that it's gone from like bad to worse. And I've been in a couple of those scenarios where it feels that way. And usually storms come around dusk. So it's like this impending doom every day for a couple of months, where as dusk comes, you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? But currently, the storms are happening at night. Like, it's all radar indicated. And it's not radar indicated in the way where, like, they think things are going to happen and then nothing comes of it. There's actually been storms. In our county earlier this week, there was actually a storm that, like, blew out all the windows at the high school. They think, last I heard, they think that there was a tornado that touched down and then went out into the fields behind it. Obviously, school is not in session because it happened at night, which is the most fortunate thing about the time of day. School's out of session now, but this was Memorial Day weekend in our area is alumni weekend, so all the people that went to all the small rural high schools come back for reunions. They don't do reunions around here like by every year. They do it by school, so like everyone that ever went to the school is invited, and then they like just highlight the years because the class sizes are so small. When my dad went to college, when he went to high school here, he was in a class of 13, and they had a fairly big class. So classes are still very small. Like 20 is a big, robust size for a high school class. So I was just glad that nothing happened here specifically. Also worthy of note, if you don't live in Kansas, because it was a surprise to me when I moved from California, counties are very small. So, like in California, counties are huge, and your county is not necessarily all on the same, like, geographic or economic, like, page as each other. You might have very different industries, very different land, all of that. So, like, if something happens in the northern part of your county, it's very far removed physically and, like, life-wise from you. The way that Kansas has marked up all their counties, you are very close, like within a horse ride of your county seat. That was, I guess, part of the reason they set it up this way. So you are not only geographically similar and close to the people in your county, you are in a very similar, like, livelihood, usually, the way that things are, because you are physically so close. So it does mean that, like, when something happens to anything in your county, it's, like, happening to you. And also, the fact that my county only has 6,000 people, anything that happens in our county is probably more meaningful to me than to some people having it happen in their entire town of, like, hundreds of thousands of people. I don't know. So, anyways, we're keeping our eyes out. I need to go and check the weather again and make sure that the warnings have stayed in the west of the county and that they're not moving this way. And if they are moving this way, then I need to call my kids in. So, gonna do that, then gonna make coffee, then gonna try and get my act together. And I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm going to try to do more vlogging this week. I don't really know why. Mostly because I want to, because I kind of miss it. So I think they're just gonna be a lot of long, chatty, me being boring and talking about my sleeping and my eating and those things. And if that's boring to you, then you can skip them. But I don't know that there's that many people that find them interesting anyway, so. But I will do it because it is of interest to me, and I will show you the cardigan that I'm working on, which is over there, and very green and sparkly later, when I can show it to you in the proper sparkle light, because this light does not do it justice. Okay. Weather, coffee, kids.
So I think it's like 9-ish, and storm did come through. We actually did go down to the basement because there were warnings for our area. I don't think we got anything scary, and we definitely didn't get any hail or anything, but better safe than sorry because, yeah, there's been tornadic activity in the state today. So, when I came back up, though, like, this is completely full of water, and, when we came up originally, that, like, whole bed was full. It's drained out since. So, clearly there was definitely a sudden downpour, but it seems to all be going away at this point, though we are still under warnings till like 10, but I think we'll be all right.